Good morning, everybody. Glad y'all can make it. Today I'm going to be telling y'all about a topic that really has my interest, and I hope will get yours too. So most of y'all like the outdoors, and there's normally two different seasons for a lot of outdoorsmen. That is hunting and fishing. Well, today I'm going to tell you of a way where you can combine both of those at the same time. How, you might ask? Bow fishing. The art of actually taking out a bow and arrow and shooting fish out of the water. It's a great way to go out and enjoy the summer, enjoy the fall, whenever you can. But let's get started. First, I'm going to tell you all about what you need to bow fish, how to legally bow fish, and why bow fishing is important to the ecosystem. So let's go ahead and start gathering up all of our gear. First, we're going to start out, of course, you're going to need a bow. Now, we have evolved from our primitive days of taking wood and bending it into a more modernized era where we are using different parts like carbon fiber and aluminum frames to create a more solid compound bow. This type of bow allows you to draw back a certain amount of weight with a let-off, so instead of holding 50 pounds, you are currently holding about 20 pounds. This allows you to track a fish longer, take aim longer, and stuff like that. Another way you can go out is the more traditional route by taking out a longbow or the more popularized recurve bow. It's a little bit shorter, you can break them down in many options, and you get the same power that you would with a compound bow. On top of that, you have to, of course, get your reel. Now, there are different types of reels out there. You have your reel that's set up with like a hopper system on the back. There's no spooling to it. It just has a mechanism in it where when you squeeze down the handle, it pinches the reel, pinches the line, and you're able to reel in. You can also use the more traditional style fishing reel, which is a push button that when you hit the button, it allows line to move freely out of the spool, and you're able to, as soon as you hit the fish, start reeling in, and it starts spooling back down on the spool. And on top of that, you have, lastly, your open face styles reel. What it does is you'll have a little flip up bail that will allow you to flip it up before you take your shot. And as you release the arrow, line is going to unspool off the arrow. So when you hit the fish, you'll close the bail back down and reel in. Lastly, you're going to need an arrow. Arrows for bow fishing are specifically made out of a stronger fiberglass material so that they can penetrate the water and penetrate the fish. They also have a difference in they don't have fletching. Fletching causes the arrow to divert in the water, and chances of you missing the fish are increased. Lastly, the arrow is designed with a little ring on it that line attaches to it, so when you shoot the arrow, it pulls line out and allows you to actually reel a fish in. Now that I've kind of gone over the basics of what you need to bow fish, I'm going to kind of go into the legalities of it, how to actually go out and legally shoot fish. So I suggest go to your local DNR, your Department of Natural Resources website, and look up their specific rules and regulations. Where I currently live and where most of y'all live with me, rules are you can only shoot non-sport fish. So that includes a lot of your carps, your gar, and in a few cases, catfish. Sport fish are mainly the ones that people go out and fish for regularly on a daily basis, such as bass, brim, crappie, and like I said, in certain areas, catfish are considered a sport fish. Make sure you do your research because some areas allow you to go fishing at night and some areas don't. Also, you might need a specific license to actually go out and bow fish. So I suggest doing your research before you go out and actually get involved and learn so you don't get in trouble with the local law enforcement. And lastly, let's go ahead and start reeling this in with why bow fishing is actually important to the ecosystem. Most fish you actually target aren't actually your typical trophy type fish where you're going out and trying to catch, trying to put on the table and eat. They're more of what people consider trash fish or bottom feeder fish and stuff like that. Some of these species include the Asian carp. Now, according to the National Wildlife Federation, the Asian carp is one of the most invasive species to ever come across America. The problem with the Asian carp is it eats way more food than a regular common carp in your local ponds. This causes fish to leave the area, and another problem they have is at a certain RPM, when you hit your boat motor, these fish will start to jump out of the water. So when you're traveling down rivers or waterways, next thing you know, you have a 20, 30-pound fish jumping out of the water, causing personal injury to the riders. And we can't be having that. Another thing, according to the scientific journal, is if the Great Lakes ever actually get invaded with grass carp, because that is kind of one of the main issues right now, is the Asian carp is traveling up the Mississippi River. They start getting into the major fisheries and it'll actually hurt a $7 billion industry. So boat fishing actually is a way to go out and kind of to cull the herd, if you would say. So you're trying to take out a population of invasive species or control a population that might be getting at hand of regular species that are common to your area. So that kind of concludes my speech. I'm just going to quickly recap. I kind of went over the basics of what you need to actually go bow fishing. Of course, you're going to need a bow, you're going to need a reel, and you're going to need that specific type of arrow that I'm going to over. Secondly, make sure you go out and actually do this legally. You want to go online, do your research, and make sure that nothing you do actually is illegal or you're shooting the wrong type of fish. And finally, bow fishing is a great way to get out and kind of control the population of fish. You're going after fish that aren't normally targeted, and you're possibly going after those endangered species. Thank you all again for showing up. My name is Nathan Dunn. Y'all have a great afternoon. Woo! Great job, Dunn.